slow as hell. So she generally just is it a he? I'm pretty sure it's a he. I never bothered to check. If anyone could, what's his name? Frost Whisper. Right, it's a dude. So yeah, I mean, it's like I'm sure most of you know this, but it's just like I guess it never occurred to me because undeads had never like just left their lich at my base, and yeah, probably a pretty good reason for that. And now I chose not to heal my DK before running over here to this night elf, and I'm not really paying attention. And these Gargs are gonna run into the night elf base a bit further than they should. Regardless, I think it's completely like when you start massing Gargs, like he got his AP up, and there comes a certain threshold in which you can have Gargs in their base even if they have an AP up. Like when you only have 5 or 6 Gargs, it's genuinely not worth it to have Gargs running around in their base. Because what will essentially happen is you'll just end up losing a few Gargs. But I think when you have like around 12-ish or almost a full group, you can just run in, kill all their wisps, and run out and not even lose a Garg because it's just not enough DPS coming from the AP. I also think that whenever you're in a situation like this, you shouldn't play the game as I proceed to. Like I guess or actually you should. Like a lot of what I learned as human is that, like pushing advantages you have to do very quickly. Like because when I played human in games, it would always be like, okay, I kill this hero, now I have to do some sort of push. But I kind of don't feel like that's the case when you're playing undead. It's a lot more like, I guess, okay, so I killed his hero and I've stalled him a lot. Now I have to make a big army and get high level heroes and just crush him in one big battle. So like the games have been a lot longer than I'm used to, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. God knows that I need practice. And now I'm just sitting in my base because I'm being lazy. I could probably be out creeping, but yeah. So I'm gonna basically go up to 50 food and Garg, get a slaughterhouse, and I just threw down my slaughterhouse. It is a bit late. It's a lot late, and hopefully I can get this motion rolling. So my thought now is that like I obviously can't just go and finish the game, like or at least I feel like I can't. I don't know if I could or not. I don't really have the confidence. So I'm gonna go and just creep as much stuff as I can. The first thing I think of creeping is this because the red Drake dies really quickly, and it does render a lot of experience. My main goal now is in my head I'm just thinking I want to get to level 3 and pawn some null brutes in general. Oh, a good thing about undead base builds, like I'm absolutely bad at them. Like I don't ever understand like where to put my graveyard. Like the bottom spawn and TM, like I always spend like the first like 30 seconds of the game like fuddling around with my Echo, like God, where the fuck do I put this fucking crypt? And then I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have a late DK. Like so I can't do fiend builds on TM, sadly, because I get too anal about my base build. The Night Elf right now is sort of just creeping, I guess, but since he's not going to have any bears, it's going to be, like, I think bears are really important versus Gargs. Like, I don't understand why, like, since the Dryad nerf, I think it was really unnecessary of Night Elf players to continue to go that many Dryads. When I played Night Elf for the month or so where I was playing a lot of Night Elf, I always went bears versus undead. Like, I would go, like, a small group, like 7 or 8 Dryads, and try and level my panda, and then as soon as I did that, or as soon as I had that small group of Dryads and I was like fine for leveling, I would tech and go to bears, because it's very difficult to actually end a game with Dryads. You usually end up just being absolutely stuck in the fact that you're doing piercing damage to fortified undead buildings, and while, yeah, sure, your Dryads will beat Gargs, they don't beat Orb in general. Like, Dryads just lose to heroes. Like, piercing damage versus hero armor is, like, usually a bad call. So I would say that, like, you just need bears as, like, game finishers. Like, even if they're obviously they can't attack Gargs, but you certainly need them just to finish the game versus players. Like, I guess, I mean, I guess that seems like a really obvious statement, but at least that's sort of my theorizing behind why you would need them. And not to mention, healing just gets a lot easier, because Dryads don't heal very well on Moonwalls, granted that they have mana, and any unit with mana is just like horrible to heal on a Moonwell. So I think that's also extremely necessary that you try hard to just that you try very hard as a Night Elf player to just get to bears at some point in the game. I think bears would have helped him this game because it would have harassed my heroes a lot more. Like his heroes, like in the big fight we have where I eventually blow him out, with bears probably would have been a lot better than just mass dryads. Also, granted, he did not go panda, so it made this game a lot more one-sided than it should have been. His Beastmaster ends up at level 3, which it is now, and I think had he gone for a panda, he would have been a lot better off. And I think maybe my logic is a bit wrong, also because of the fountains. You can heal your dryads on fountains, so you don't need to go to bears. I don't know. Just a thought, I guess. So another thing I'd like to mention is I've only lost like a couple games as Undead. Granted, I have not played anyone equal in skill level to me. It's just I've always had an edge in micro, and it's been like the Night Elf players who expand, I have such a hard time against. Like I almost always just try and sneak a counter expansion, like which I probably will not work at all versus good players, but I almost feel like I have to a lot of the time. Expanded Night Elf without an expansion typically hasn't been too much of a challenge, as far as just like getting there and trying. I mean, just microing as well as I can. It just hasn't been that much of an issue. Here he pops his invulnerability pot like really early. As you can see, I just shift click my Gargs, and as poison is affecting my gargoyles, I'm just slowly killing them off. Another thing you'll notice is like just you have to be really prepared for like when the undead like gets ready to hero nuke you. They'll like just attack with their whole army first, and that's when you use the invulnerability potion, because they're gonna try and hero nuke you when you get into like TP range, because what will essentially happen is you'll be stuck at a low HP, and if you don't get the TP off right then, you're just gonna get Nova Coiled and die. Yeah, so that's pretty much the game, that one big fight. Gargoyle, by the way, the reason Panda is really very good versus Dryads a lot of the time is, like Dryads aren't really the best like focus fire unit. Like they don't really have that much damage, but they're really good if like you just A-click them and have them all attacking separate Gargs, and then Panda Breath of Fire. Even with healing scrolls, it's very hard to outlast because the Dryads do typically live a very long time. Okay, so that's my short little audio here on Undead versus Night Elf. I hope everyone enjoyed it. This is Joseki signing off.